Alright, guys. Welcome back. Alright, so in case you're wondering what was up with the Power Ranger names, this is actually when Jason, Zach, and Trini go on their, I guess, their international conference thing. So we have Rocky, Aisha, and Adam taking their place. This is based on the movie in 1995. A lot of fun games made for the movie itself, but this is actually, I think, is closer to the original movie than any other games that were released. So unfortunately, I was selected to run this game for NASA Marathon, but due to some financial restraints and some other issues going on, I wasn't able to attend. I'm not able to attend next week, but I definitely thank them for allowing me to show, hey, this run is actually marathon worthy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and run this. Alright, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Live split is being extremely chaotic lately. I'm sorry, guys. Let me reset. And this is why I don't use live split anymore. It just doesn't work. Let me try that again. Okay, so at least I know it works now. Alright, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie like I was talking about. This is for the original Game Boy. I'm actually playing this on the Super Game Boy. This is actually going to be a little bit slower as far as character selection, because I'm using all of the Rangers involved. There is different types of Rangers involved with this run, so we'll be using different ones here. So your goal is to basically start punching putties and baddies to get your power level up enough to morph into a Power Ranger. And as you can see, some of the hitbox manipulations a little slow at times. But now once you're a Power Ranger, you do get a new power, which is the lunge. It actually moves you a little bit faster. Plus, it is able to get these putties down pretty fast. And here's our first sub-boss in the game. It's actually pretty easy to take them down. Just keep jumping in the air repeatedly to get them down, and we're done. So as Enda was saying, I actually hold the current world record on both the 80% normal and 80% hard modes right now. My 80% normal right now is a 25-22, and I believe my hard mode is a 28. 20-30 something or other. So as far as the locales are concerned, I believe this is probably downtown Angel Grove. They don't really go into details of what these stages are. But we're going to the first boss now, which is Morphin. He's actually pretty easy. Just gotta jump in the air, punch him a couple times. There's actually a power punch you get where you're actually spamming the punch button really fast. It actually gives you an actual extra hit there, and you don't want to be too close or he's gonna punch you. And with that, Morphin's done. So first boss already down. And now we get to go to the Black Ranger Adam. Like a frog, he's going to be using his jumping abilities in Goldar stage. And I like to call Goldar the RNG King, so he loves to throw out some really weird crap. But the reason why I pick Adam is he has a very nice jump. It's actually very high. Aisha, Adam, and Kimberly all have this jump, and I'll be using Kimberly in the later levels to go over some very nasty pits. If you guys are fans of the Angry Video Game Nerd, he did a very good explanation of what I deal with in this run. Particularly, there's a lot of input drop issues, and there's also a lot of hitbox detection issues. And that's something you don't see in this run. I mean, you see it in behind the scenes. I'm actually trying to deal with hitbox issues like you just saw me get hit by those rocks. But those are just things that I deal with, and it's actually part of the run. So you don't fall victim to some bad programming. But the game itself is actually infamous now because he actually destroys this game in that video he did of Mighty Morphin Power Ranger games. So that's why I call this an infamous run now, thanks to him. Because he actually destroys this game. But his rage is justified. I mean, the points he talks about in the run are very much true. And it's definitely something I work and try to avoid in these runs. Alright, so I'm basically trying to patch putties right now to morph into a Power Ranger. And I gotta make sure all these baddies are killed so I can keep progressing. Alright, so now you're noticing a very bad bug in the game. That item actually was hanging there in limbo. It didn't despawn, so I cannot exit the stage until it despawns. So getting somewhat decent RNG off of Goldar here, so pretty decent fight. But there are some times he is very, very tricky. What I'm trying to do is manipulate him to do that lunge attack move. But that fight, it goes really, really fast, unfortunately. So you blink and you miss it. So in my run, I actually use the White Ranger or Tommy twice. There's times where even in the Ivan stage and later stages, he does become very important because he's actually a tank ranger. He does a lot of damage, but he doesn't jump as high. He's actually my official backup strat. So if you see me talking about him a lot, what would Tommy do? A meme is actually a real thing. But I use Tommy in this level because he's actually pretty fast, and there's not a lot of platforming to do like in the other levels. So I use Tommy with this stage. It's actually pretty easy. And your movement is slowed by that water, so I'm trying to jump like crazy to speed up a little bit. And we see putties with bazookas. The one thing you want to see. Kappa. And now I'm basically just walking back and forth to aggro some of these putties as I'm traversing through this sewer area here to get to my boss, which is the man-sized rat. You don't see him in the movie, but you do see him in the TV series. And that's my big man-sized rat right there that I'm going to try to beat up. He does this little move where he does that spinning move, so that's completely RNG based. I'm waiting for him to actually jump up and be stationary so I can punch him in the face. And there he is right there. Definitely want to get that power punch in there so I can get an extra hit off. I like it when he's in the middle. It makes that punch real easy to do. And one more hit. And he's done. Alright, so that's 3 bosses down. We got 3 to go. And this stage coming up is definitely one of the hardest levels in the entire game. Because of the aforementioned input drop issues. Alright, so, like I was saying, that's going to cause me a little bit of time right there, but I wanted to play on the Super Game Boy so you guys can see which Ranger I'm playing as. So that's definitely just going to be a part of the run. I'm sacrificing seconds for you guys. So, you're actually traversing a lot of pits in this stage, and I'm using Aisha's jump abilities to go through a lot of the platforms, and wow, I totally didn't mean to do that. Yay, palette change. If I can change back. Okay, well, I'm sorry. That might actually help. I don't know. Let's just say that's never happened in a run. I swear my finger slipped and hit the R button. But we'll just have to deal with it. Try and see if I can do it real quick. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know how I did that. Alright, so this part's actually really hectic. It's an auto-scroller, but you've got to be faster than this little excavator here. So what I'm doing is I'm just repeatedly punching and kicking to get through this level. And this is definitely one area that can be the run kill right here. And the distance I'm at right now is actually pretty ideal. You don't want to get any further closer to him. But yeah, guys, if you definitely want to check out that video on the Power Ranger games, definitely do so. It's one of the better episodes I've seen from him in a long time. Especially when he actually destroys the cartridge that I'm playing on right now. And we're out of there. And God, I could not see that because of the stupid screen colors. There we go. Ha! I'm gonna lose a few seconds, but I don't give a crap. I want you guys to see what I'm doing. If that's not love for my fans, I don't know what is. Alright, so we come to one of the harder parts of the run here, which is actually the carts. So what I'm doing here, I'm basically going from left to right, and I'm trying to jump. The problem is you can't do 2 commands at the same time, so I'm having to jump and just move over slightly. But this is the part that really made the angry video game nerd really pissed off, because this is the part that he did not like at all, and neither do I. This part is actually really tough, and you can die right here, rather easily. Thank you, stupid input drops. Because you're not getting the jump first, you're actually moving first, not the other way around. So it's really annoying. And when you stand up like that, you've made it through the cart level, so yay for me. Now I'm just gonna beat out some putties to go to Queen Tengu here, and she is actually in the movie. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to stay on this top conveyor, and thank you, Aisha, because she actually can get up here and manipulate Tengu. And what I'm going to try to do is actually grab her in the air and punch her. This is actually a very hard tech to do. If you see a task of this game, Goddess Maria has actually made a task in this game. It's just so amazing to see Tengu being tuggled and juggled like she is in the task. So for me to actually bring it to a run is actually pretty neat when done right. But I mean, it doesn't quite work as well in normal because you're dealing with hitbox issues and all that good stuff. But hey, I'm making it work. It's working. Definitely one of the more difficult fights when things don't quite go the way you want. And Queen Tengu is done. So not too terribly bad there. Not too terribly bad. Alright, so we're coming up in the last two bosses here. We got Lord Zed, and we also have Ivan Ooze. And you're going to laugh at how easy Ivan Ooze is. And not Ivan Ooze, I'm sorry, Lord Zed, because for the guy that is the main villain in the entire Power Rangers universe, he's actually quite a pushover in this game. And for this level, I'm using Rocky, the Red Ranger. And this level is definitely putty heavy, so I'm going to be traversing through this area pretty quickly. And there's a term I throw out a lot. It's called punch happy putties. That's when the putties just automatically go right to punching you in the face. So I'm basically trying to block to try to change up their manipulation, so they're not punching me quite so much in the face. And the putties with the bazookas again. And again, you saw that little glitch there where I had to pick up that item before it would let me progress. So, which I'm glad it was actually a Thunderbolt, because it actually gets you to morph faster. And now I can morph, so now I've got my lunge and my dash. Yeah, that's exactly what they do, Slaw. They get punch happy, they punch you right in the face, they do not hesitate. And that's a perfect example of a punch happy putty right there. What you saw. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to do a little waggle move to basically lure these putties closer to me. And those sound effects you're hearing right now, that's actually Super Game Boy exclusive, so thank you, developer, for thinking about that one. And easy sub-boss. And now we come up to our bosses, or I'm sorry, enemies that I call Roombas because they're ground bots, and also we come to the full-size androids. And they take about 2 hits to kill, and they're extremely painful. But what I do here is I do some hitbox manipulation. I actually hit them low, because you can actually manipulate their hitbox so you can actually pass right underneath them and not get hit. And here we come to Lord Zed, and he is just strictly RNG, but he is so easy to beat. I'm waiting for him to actually materialize before I hit him with my awesome move here, and that knocks him down about half health. And he's just gonna keep respawning like that. I'm gonna punch him right in the face. You just gonna want to make sure you don't get that pulsar blasts at you in your face, because they hurt a lot. Do a lot of damage. And not too bad. Lord Zed's down. And now we're coming up on the final stage of the game, which is Ivan Ooze. And for this stage, I'm using Kim, because, again, she's using that the jump ability. But also, this is a reminiscent of Mega Man games, because this is a lot of the boss refights, so you're going to be facing all of the bosses again. But this is definitely one of the more hectic levels in the entire run, because you're dealing with a lot of pits. And like I say with the runs, every time I see a pit, I cringe. Because that's when the inputs start dropping like crazy. Now, with me not being a Power Ranger, this fight's going to be a little bit slower, but it's still same mechanics as before. Just don't get punched in the face like I did. Wow. A little bad on my timing there. And you just pass right on through him. And sadly, with me not being a Power Ranger, this makes this boss a little slower than I would like. And what I basically do is after every refight, I stay to the right-hand side, because you do this walking animation to go all the way over to the right. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually letting the androids walk over me, because I'm trying to be really careful here since Kim is about to die. But the good thing is when you actually do morph, you do get your health back, which I'm about to demonstrate. I just passed through here. So I'm trying to actually get through this stage pretty fast, but not make it to where I can't make these pits. Because you can make the game scroll past you, and you can actually just miss those pits altogether. And luckily I made it through the first couple pits unscathed, so thank goodness for that. And now we fight Queen Tengu again. Let's see if I can get some good RNG here. So what you're basically trying to do with this, the juggle move I'm doing, is you're actually trying to punch Queen Tengu to make her go to the opposite side. If you kick her, she's going to stay on the same side. So that's how I'm able to know which way she's going to be coming at me. And now we come up to the man-sized rat again. Oh. I could have done that with one cycle less, but that's okay. Nearly flawless there. Alright. Pit heavy area number 2. Woo. Blessed be the makers on this one. Because I actually made it through the second pits area. And now we fight with Goldar again. One thing you do not want to do with Goldar is have him do that little slashing move all the time, because he will stay there until you actually move. Come on, lunch. There we go. Getting some bad RNG here from Goldar. And I'm actually showing off a little bit of the hit detection issues in this game, because you can get very close to Goldar and overlap him, and he just keeps slashing away. It's so funny to see that, but it's really not funny, because Goldar is painfully slow like that. Alright, so at this point, since I'm a Power Ranger, I have that special move to do like an all-kill. I want to save that for Ivan Ooze because his fight is extremely difficult. So I'm going to try to save that as much as I can. But I'm going to use it right now on Lord Zed because he's going to be a pain to me. And his movement here is very much RNG, so... And to the right, so don't waste time on that walk animation. And this level is, whoa, input drop. You couldn't see it right there, but that was actually what that was. And that's just a part of the run right there. But luckily my backup strat comes into play here, so I can use Tommy. It's hard to demonstrate what happens with the input drops in this game, but if you run it as long as I have, you can actually sense when those drops happen. Ah, it happened again. And honestly, I think optimized with this run, I can get it down to about a 24. But that's as if I do not have any input drops whatsoever. So you consider yourself extremely lucky if that were to ever happen to you in a run. See right there, I sensed it right there and I jumped backwards. I mean, it's hard to describe it on stream to you, but that's what I have to do to avoid those input drops. Alright, so this is Ivan Ooze's layer, so what I'm doing now is basically just getting enough power to perform, going to Power Ranger mode, and then I'll be able to take on the first form of Ivan Ooze. He actually has two forms, and his first form is actually a lot more difficult than the second form. The timing on Ivan Ooze's first stage is very, very critical. So you'll actually see me and might hear me saying a certain a number combination. But it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the and I have to punch him. So I started to stay about right here, because what he does is he shows that, there you go, the Thunderbolt. That thing does a lot of damage if you get hit with it, so I try to stay about right here so it doesn't quite hit me. And of course, if I time it wrong, he does basically throws me over to the other side. Another thing you can look for is there's actually a visual cue. And see, yeah, I already get hit by the Thunderbolt. You do 3 idle animations, and then you can punch. And it is actually pretty difficult to get that second hit in there like I did just now for that other phase, but I'm so actually thankful I got it. Alright, one more hit, we go on to the second phase of Ivan Ooze. Come on, Ivan. Alright. First form down, one to go. And actually, the movement on Ivan is actually pretty easy to avoid. Groin hit. I do not like groin hit. It's actually a joke on the hitbox issues. And that was actually very close to being it. But once that Pulsar Blast came out, that thing has to hit you before I can even attack him, so... Luckily, I'm at the final part of the stage. I'm not worried right now. Not worried at all. We can get him. I'm actually trying to walk away to not get groin hit. But what I do? I get groin hit. And time. Alright, so that was 29:05. Because stupid, stupid life split doesn't want to work for me. That's why I don't use it anymore. Thank you, Enan. Thank you, thank you. But people are always wondering why they make the estimate so high. It's because of that RNG. It's because of the input drops and the hitbox detection issues. So I always allow myself some time to get through those. But thank you very much, Loth. Thank you, thank you. Taco salad. But yeah, for the game that was made in 1995, this game is very underrated. A lot of fun, a lot of great tunes, as you can see, obviously. I definitely want to give a shout out to my fellow Mighty Morphin Power Ranger runners, Skybills and Sato Ryu, who run the Super Nintendo and Genesis versions. All three of us actually tried to get into SGDQ, and we all got rejected. Don't know why. Because this game's awesome, and the Power Rangers are awesome, but what you gonna do? Don't know. But I definitely want to give them a shout because I know they tried very hard. This and the entire game as a whole is pretty difficult, so definitely props to them. But this run is actually pretty special for me because this is another one of these games that I played when I was a kid, and I never thought I'd be speedrunning it, but here we are. I've got world records in both categories, so. But if you guys are actually interested in the run, you can definitely catch me on my stream, which I'll go ahead and just type in real quickly here since I've got the commands up. But I do a tutorial on 80% normal. Hard's about the same. The only difference is there is actually just one hit difference between the different bosses, and some hit percentage is a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same run. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as Power Rangers are concerned. It's a great game, classic game. And of course, I love what Tommy says at the end here. Piece of cake, right, guys? So that was Power Rangers the movie. Alright, so with that being said, I'm going to take another quick break real quick, and then we're going to get started with our Star Fox block. Star Fox hype! So I'll be doing Star Fox 1, Route 1, Warpless. So that's coming up next.